Hello everyone, I'm Nikki. I'm the owner and creator of Border in a Box, the out-of-the-box garden design kit company. I created Border in a Box a few years ago when I moved into a new build property and I didn't know what to do with the garden. I'd spent all my money on the actual move itself, and when I looked at the garden it was just a boring patch of turf and a wooden fence, and I really just didn't know what to do with it. It was so uninspiring and so boring. So I thought, that's easy enough. I'll just go off to the garden centre and pick up a few plants, come back, pop them in the garden, and everything will be fine. But of course you get to the garden centre and you're met with an absolute vast array of plants to choose from, and you've no idea what plant looks good with what plant. Is it going to be right for your garden? And then you spend hours and hours looking at these tiny little plant labels on each plant, and they're written in foreign languages. They've got little icons on them. You don't really know whether, you just spend so much time looking at it and it becomes really stressful. So if somebody had given me a kit at that point and said, here you go, here's a design, go and buy these plants, put them in your garden, I'd have been absolutely happy as anything. So I thought, what a great idea that is. But at the time I was working in IT, I'd been in IT for 20 years, and I had no desire to change career at that point. However, as a chain of events happened, I went off to Pershore Horticultural College to start and study plants and horticulture to help me create my garden. And as I said, one thing led to another. I met a lady who was really passionate about show gardens, and I thought, well, God, that sounds amazing. I can do that. And I sent in my application to the RHS 3 weeks after I finished my course, thinking this is going to be great, I'm going to love this, which I did. But I got accepted, and it was a real baptism of fire. It was probably the most difficult project I'd ever worked on in my life. And I was really fortunate because I actually won a silver medal and the People's Choice Award. So I actually got to meet the lovely Alan Titchmarsh. Now, Alan has been a big part of my journey, as they say, because Alan fell in love with my sculptures on my garden, which were life-size sheep sculptures made of chicken wire. So to cut a really long story short, he ended up purchasing them and I took them down to his house and delivered them. And whilst I was with Alan, I was really cheeky and I said, Alan, can I discuss a business idea with you? He said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I had a very surreal moment when Alan Titchmarsh made me a cup of tea in his kitchen and I was sat there talking to him about Border in a Box. So this is what I actually showed Alan. This was my prototype. And as you can see, it's sort of quite in your face. It's a big box. And we talked about all sorts of things, from the quality of the paper to the design, how I was going to market it, how much it was going to cost, all manner of aspects of the packaging. So on my drive home, which was a few hours, I thought, well, I've got two choices. I either take things forward or I just knock it on the head. And again, it was one of those baptism of fire because I had no concept as to what I was going to be letting myself in for. But what a great couple of years I had. It's been really exciting. Bloody hard work, soul destroying at times, but it's, as I said, it's just been the best thing because I've met some tremendous people along the way. So a couple of months after I met Alan, I went to learn about PR because PR was something I really struggled with when I was creating my show garden. So I met this lady online who specialised in helping people like myself to promote their businesses. So I went along for this event in London and I met a really interesting character there who was presenting on branding. Now, I didn't really understand branding at that point, but again, I showed him my Border in a Box, and again, he loved the concept. Again, to cut another really long story short, he ended up helping me create the version that I then took to market, which was this version. And as you can see, it's half the size, completely different in look, feel, absolutely everything. And once I'd actually sorted out all the branding, so things like the logos, the little icons, the actual colour scheme, because I've got 8 different versions of Border in a Box now, but at the time I had 5 versions. So each version was a different colour. So this one was the shady, which is sort of like in a little grey colour. But I absolutely loved it. I was just so over the moon because I thought, God, that looks really professional. And I was really chuffed. So couple of months after launching this, I launched on Amazon in March 2017, and a couple of months later, I entered a competition with the Country Homes and Interiors magazine, and I won Garden Product of the Year. So as part of my prize package, I got given a mentor who's a garden retailer, and again, he gave me loads of advice. So I went to meet him, and again, I was obviously very proud the fact that I won this award, and I was, over the moon at meeting this guy, and basically he said, "Your packaging really is rubbish." He didn't say it quite that bluntly, but that was the gist of it. And I just thought, I wasn't quite sure what to do next, because I'd literally just launched this a few months previously, and of course it's a big investment. Not just money but time and energy, and I was exhausted, but I took his comments on board, and a few months later I launched it not on high street. So again, I thought, well, if someone the largest gift site company in the UK loves Border in a Box, then great, it can't be that bad. So I was ecstatic about that, and then shortly after that I won SBS with Theo Paphitis. I don't know whether anyone here is an SBS member, but Theo has been a big part of my journey as well. At the time, I thought it was just going to be a PR stunt, but just to help me with my PR and developing my brand. But it's been a lot more than that. It's been a big part of my business journey as well, because Theo ran a competition where you could actually win exhibition space at the Autumn Fair, which is like one of the biggest retailer shows that you can go to, and it's based at the NEC in the spring and also the autumn. So it was a fantastic opportunity for me to get there. But just before I went to the Autumn Fair, I went to the annual SBS event, and I got to meet some of Theo's buyers. And I met one of his buyers, and again, I was like very excited about meeting them. I didn't know who these gentlemen were because they don't introduce themselves to you. But he held my tin up and he looked at me and he said, "If that was on my shelf," he said, "I think that was a box of stationery," and I walked straight past it. And I was absolutely crestfallen, because I wanted him to love my baby. He was telling me my baby was ugly. And I took it all on board, and I must admit, I left that sort of 10-minute meeting with them absolutely, well, I just didn't know what to do. Oh God, what am I going to do? And I thought, my mentor said, "You need to sort your packaging out." Dave now told me that I need to sort my packaging out. Someone else told me it looked like a box of stationery. And I started asking people then, I said, "Do you think that looks like a box of stationery?" And the initial response was, "Oh, isn't that really pretty? Oh, that's really lovely. What is it?" And yes, it does look like a box of stationery. And I just thought, I've obviously got to do something about it. So when I won the Win Award for Innovation in March 2018, that gave me a little boost of cash. So I was able to then work with Nancy, my designer, to actually then create another version of Border in a Box. And it was a really stressful time, because I was actually creating a show garden border at BBC Gardeners World Live. And if you've ever created a show garden, it will literally take over your life. So you have no time to do anything. So to then make the decision to create another version of Border in a Box, it was really, really stressful. Not from a money perspective, but just absolutely everything that went into it. And being on your own to run your business, you know that you're responsible for literally every detail about the product. But I persevered, and at the Autumn Fair, I launched the latest version of Border in a Box, which, as you can see, is now a much more gardening looking product. It's in an eco style packaging now, so it has the brown craft boxes. Has obviously a lot more branding on there. It's actually a bit more insightful about what it is, what's actually in the box. So it's a lot easier to actually understand what's actually in the box now. So for me, it was really, really exciting. And the other thing that sort of came from the working with Theo and the SBS team, they actually posted online that the Science Museum were actually looking for new suppliers to work with. So because I was so exhausted from the year that I had of doing my show garden at Gardeners World Live, and also the SBS event at the NEC, or should I say the autumn fair, I was absolutely exhausted, and I thought, well, I've got to send some form of email to the Science Museum, and I didn't really think that it was perhaps the right fit for me. But I thought, well, why not? So I literally sent an email. Normally I would craft an email and say how wonderful my product is and how it can help them. And I literally sent an email, went, this is what I do, here's a photograph. If you like it, get in touch. And they did. And I was like, all right, okay. So this year I've launched Border and Box into the Science Museum in London, into their brand new gift shop, as a co-branded product. So it's got Science Museum written all over it, and also a range of seeds. So it's been another really exciting year. And the next step is what I'm literally just about to launch. So this is hot off the press. So this is my latest version of a wooden box, which, because I sell my product not on the high street, they're the people to go to for personalisation. So now I can actually personalise my boxes. So if you said, to mum and dad, thanks for helping me grow, love Nikki, or whatever text you want on there, I can now do that. And so I can actually put a border in a box, a gift garden design kit in there, along with a bird feeder, tape measure, anything you like really. So it's just a really lovely, thoughtful gift to give anybody. So to summarise all of my journey, so obviously you've got to enjoy what you do, because the ups and downs that you have along the way it can be really, heartbreaking at times, some of the nasty comments that you get, but equally, the lovely comments that you get actually, really make you think you're doing a worthwhile job. So my advice to anyone is to find people to work with that get your product, people that you trust. I find that really important, that you can actually work with people and know that they're going to get on and do the right job for you. My other key thing as well is investing in your packaging and your branding. There's no point in creating a product where the branding doesn't reflect your business ethos. So everything I do is I personalise everything. I get involved with every single detail of my business, so I know it's going to be good quality, it's going to last, and it's beautiful. And also do your own PR. You are your best storyteller. So I personally wouldn't use a PR agency, because they're going to be working with other people, and I want to be the forefront of everything. So my PR, I've been in all sorts of glossy magazines and newspapers, from the Sunday Mirror to Prima to Country Homes and Interiors to all the gardening magazines. I've written blogs for agencies and house builders, all sorts of really interesting PR. Another good one is, if you think you needed £1,000, make sure you have £2,000 or £3,000, because things take a lot more money than you ever anticipate. Mm-hmm. And also develop a rhino skin, because you need to be tough and you need to be able to take all of the criticism, take it on board, work with it, and come out the other side with a bigger and better product. And that's it.